So my name is James Barry. I am the monitor engineer for the most part. Sometimes I'll slide to the other end of the snake for front of house. So I've been in the touring industry for 22 years now. I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of different great artists. Beyonce, I've done Stevie Wonder, Gaga stuff, Kings of Leon, Miss Lauryn Hill. I've been fortunate enough to go around to a lot of churches in the industry, in the U.S. and do a lot of trainings and help those guys out with my experience from the road and try to marry the road to that portion. I have a passion for teaching and training and just helping others and sharing knowledge of what I've been able to gain and learn myself to show other people. I had the 5100s, a lot of them. The 4011 was on snare. 49.9s were on sax, trumpet, trombone, flute. 5100s were the audience mics for the artist. So we had a pretty unique set. It was in a stadium. It was very wide. We had a thrust that went down the middle. There was a big oval, and part of that was so that I could, capture the audience in front of the artist everywhere she went. So we kind of had a chase sequence, and in order to do that, it was either going to be a lot of shotgun mics like I'd done in the past, and I was like, I have an idea. Had Steven over at Mike Reynolds sent us one out to the studio in LA, and we literally set it in the middle of the studio, and we started walking around it, clapping and screaming and I guess trying to be an audience. And the other two monitor engineers, Jimmy Corbin and Chris Bellamy, were like, that thing sounds unbelievable. I said, well, looks like we're going to need 16 of these. What do you guys think? So we had 16 5100s. I mean, why not? We took the 5100s to Red Nets, and then we converted them over to Dante. In the Digico, I kept them separate as every channel just because of the chase sequence. We did drop a few of the mics in the back in certain locations. It depended on where it was within the set. Like, it wasn't going to pick anything up, so just to save channels. I mean, I think we ended up at 76 channels of audience mics, mostly 5100s. The other one were DPA shotguns. We managed that channel count over Dante through fiber back to the desk. The band engineer, he made a multi-channels out of them, but like I said, I left them all flat just so I could chase and do what I needed to do and bring some up or bring some down. I leaned heavy on the center one, and then I kind of sad faced the other ones around, and I found that was the best about how they all coupled. Probably at every given time there was at least 3 5100s in the mix, and then when it moved, it'd go to the next 3, so it'd kind of give the full roundness of the audience and where it was at. So we were driving Digico SD7s, Quantums with Klang. I've been working with DPA and Klang since early on, I guess when the 5100 came out, about placements, where it is when you can do immersive and how it kind of fits to fully wrap around you. The 5100s that we had all 6 channels plugged into, which were the main ones, I actually placed them where it was full surround, so you were getting some of the stage on those rear ones coming back. The other ones I kind of just left in front, but there was a couple of nights, the crowd was really loud, and I found myself like pushing it, and when I was pushing it, it just the roundness came above, below, and it was a cool experience that I'd actually never experienced before. So I was using the 5100s mainly for Mrs. Carter. She likes the feel of the audience. She wants to feel a part of it, and that was the whole drive behind that whole audience mic setup and what that was and the way we designed that. So how we mounted the 5100s, we had a Manfrotto arm, like a film arm, and we latched them to the deck, the leg of the deck. We cut a hole in the fascia, and we literally had them sitting, if this was the deck, they were sitting at deck level. For 2 reasons out there: we don't want to block shoes, and we don't want to be in camera spots, so we kind of hid them, but they were just sitting flat on arms attached to the deck. We were outdoors, we were in a stadium the whole time. We took these 5100s through the ringer. There was days where you're not going to go collect 17 5100s when it's downpouring. So we did have the weather protection And then on windy days, we'd put the wind socks on them. For the most part, we didn't run the wind socks. We just had the rain covers on them. They didn't affect the sound, you know, as thick as they look to be. And then putting the wind on them, all of us were like, oh, it's going to muffle it. But it was still the same crystal clear. They withstood rain very, very well. I think we may have lost 2, but we didn't lose the whole mic. We would lose like 1 or 2 elements in it. And for me, that's a win-win. You know, not in electronics, mics, weather, you're gonna lose some, but I would say overall, I'd give it an A++ of its weather resistant. I chose the 4011 on the snare drum. The biggest reason is sound and clarity. I mean, I'm not gonna take, you know, a size of something or the way something looks over sound, but the 4011 checked all the boxes off of just size to get it into a tight drum kit. The pickup pattern stayed super tight with the 4011 over. In the past, I'd use 4099s on the snare, and I feel like this had a tighter, cleaner snare sound to it. So the 4055, I think this is one of the best mics DPA has made because I ended up not even using the inside kick. I only used the outside kick. It picked up the full range. It got the clarity of the actual head and the beater, which I don't get out of any other mic normally from the outside. It held up to the road very, very well. We didn't lose one the whole tour. The hardware on here, for me, was incredible because it's locked and nothing spins. And once you place it, it's placed. So yeah, there's another DPA that I won't leave home without. So out on Renaissance, we ended up landing at 5 ST7 Quantums. We had a pretty massive opticore loop, full with both loops, driven by the 5100s, and the audience mic setup was mainly the second loop. We used Klang and Monitor World. Out front, we were all GSL, DMB, and other than that, personally, I use a lot of outboard gear by a lot of different people. We did have waves on a couple of computers. We had UAD on the band desk. As far as ear-wise, we use WYSICOM. So when I'm out front, ones I want to bring in my toolbox is definitely the 4011 on snare, definitely the 4055 on the kick. And even when we go back, when I'm back in the monitors, you know, talking to the front of house guy, maybe he doesn't have a preference as he does, I'd bring that. Definitely in monitors, the 5100 in 2017 is in my toolbox forever. There's nothing like being able to trust your audience mic setup. It's easy setup. I do the 5100 straight down stage with artists, so it captures everything in front of them. 2017's far outside to catch the upper things, and it's a win-win combination no matter where I go with whatever artist.